Welcome to TM Radio Broadcasting. My name is Frank Allen. We are live from Boston, Massachusetts. It is Friday, August the 25th, 2023. If you'd like to call in and listen, dial +1 518 801 1318. If you'd like to call in and ask a question, dial +1 617 987 8603. Tonight, we have a very special guest. I would like to introduce Jesse Call, champion of the homeless, practitioner of heart math, believer in UFOs, or what the government has come to call UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomenon. Now, this isn't a subject that I would normally get into, but we have had congressional hearings on this. Where there's Congress, that's where we're going to be. Hey, Jesse, would you like to say a few words?
Sure, Frank. It's good to be back with you.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have you back. It's been since before COVID, right around 2020, I think, right in the middle of it. Now, last time that we spoke, I think you were heading out to California, I'm not sure about that, to help with the homeless situation there. How did that go?
Actually, it wasn't California. That's where my girlfriend passed away. It was Salt Lake City, Seattle, and Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And what have you been doing with yourself since the beginning of COVID?
Well, just doing the best I can, not wearing a mask, making people laugh, helping to create a safe environment for people so they're not scared, afraid. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay, I have another question for you here. I'm full of questions tonight. Why do you believe that UAPs or UFOs are suddenly in the news?
Well, it's my personal belief that people have run out of patience. And we've got, three main whistleblowers that did the congressional hearings. We've got, I didn't tell you this before, we've got at least 40 that are coming out soon. And that's according to Corey Goode, Goode, Corey Goode. And you can see him on YouTube. He's one of the secret space program guys that first disclosed all of that with the 20 and back and such. So that's why. Yep.
Now, how long? I've correlated Roswell and computers. Roswell monitors, television monitors. Do you have anything you want to add to that? It seems like in 1947, we had that crash in Roswell, New Mexico. And at the same time, here comes ENIAC, our first computer. And we had a technological leap into the future, years ahead of our time. Comments, Jesse?
Yeah. Yes. Another thing that happened in 1947 was a guy named Kenneth Arnold who saw 9, and he coined the term flying saucer. He saw 9 flying saucers, as he put it, skipping as if it was skipping over the air. I think it was Mount Rainier. We have his airplane, in our local Call Air Museum here in Wyoming. So yes, there was a technological leap. We all kind of know about this. Yes. Does that make sense, Frank?
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense, but you'd be surprised the amount of people in the world who have been taken surprise by all of this. They go to work, they come home. They go to work, they come home. That's what their life is. And it was my life and it was your life for many years. They miss a lot. We have to take a week off, everyone in the country a week off, and go to Washington. That's what we have to do. Perform or organize a peaceful protest, not concerning flying saucers, but other things that are going on that we need to clear up. And that's the only way that seems to make a difference. Now, I'm not referring to January 6th. That did not make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, the recent congressional hearing, this was due to whistleblowers, has produced much evidence in favor of UAPs being quite real. And I don't even have to ask you this, but do you believe that they are real?
I've seen a few of my own myself, yes.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
Sure. In 1998, I believe it was about, look at the date here. I think it was a Tuesday. I may not be quite right on the date. January 27th, excuse me. I was out in the Nevada desert with a friend of mine. About 3:30 in the morning. It was a full moon. And it was between St. George, a little place called Littlefield, Keat, Nevada. Now, this is where they used to hunt boars, wild pigs. So we were out over the Virgin River and just kind of gazing down at the river. And all of a sudden, my friend gasped. And she said, she could hardly even breathe. And she says, look. So first we looked down. There were two huge circular shadows, like, 10 miles in diameter. It was hard to tell.
God.
And we looked up, and we couldn't see a thing. In other words, they were using some kind of cloaking technology. That was my first sighting. I was pretty young at the time.
Okay, and so this was like a mile long, or a mile?
No, like 10 miles in
10
diameter.
miles. Okay.
But you couldn't really tell because the moon was casting shadows over these things. In other words, you could see the circular patterns on the ground, but when you looked up, you couldn't see them. But they cast a huge shadow.
Do you think the crop circles that are happening everywhere that are so precise are the product of aliens?
It's either that or satellites.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Now, we've had a big disturbance in Maui as of late. And that would appear to be weaponry, electromagnetic weapons of some kind. That's what we're starting to hear. Care to comment?
Yeah. DEWs, directed energy weapons.
Okay, now what are they doing? Igniting the trees themselves? It's my understanding that the trees are burning from the inside out.
Yep.
All right.
So I would say, it's a little bit difficult subject to get into myself because I've been hit by them before.
Right. Okay.
Now, put this in your brain a little bit. Let me look here. So in 2021, August 11th, and I got hit. My temperature in my body was 107.4 because I took it right after. Luckily, it went down quickly. There's different types of DEWs. I've got that grilled in my memory. So yeah.
Unfortunately, to date, I have never seen one. Now, I maybe I have, and I just was not looking in the right direction. But to date, I cannot recall ever seeing one. And I think it has to do with those flat plains out there where you live. Do you think?
Well, I'm in Wyoming around the mountains, but when it
Yeah.
happened, I was up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where I grew up skiing. So, and I definitely I went to the sheriff Matt Carr, Teton County Sheriff, and it freaked him out. I showed him the imprint in the back of my window. Yeah, he just didn't even want to deal with it. He's like, I don't even know what that is, and he turned around and walked away from me. Scared the crap out of him, which I understand.
Yeah, the
So
police officers deal with some really bizarre things, and I would have to say that would be one of them. Take a
yeah, out of
look.
the box,
Yeah.
top shelf. Yeah.
Now, what do you think? All right, I have one question first, and you've already answered it for me, but we need to answer it for the listening audience. That is, we'll say that men can stand with great difficulty 10 Gs. Now, the maneuvering capability of these crafts are putting something like 50 Gs on somebody because they stop dead, ricochet in the opposite direction at like Mach 2.
And the answer is time, space, electromagnetic. I can never pronounce that word. Electromagnetic shielding. So there are no G's. There's no G's. And yes, there are people or aliens on board because they do not experience any kind of G forces.
Okay, that would help because if not, that would mean the aliens are like exoskeletons, internal skeleton, able to stand 50 Gs, would never win.
No.
Quite frankly, I don't see how would ever win a war against what I've seen on TV and in videos. I can't see it.
I wish I could find the YouTube. It was a quick, like 38-second video of a Russian plane attacking ships in the ocean,
Okay.
and they were shooting at it. And they hit it over and over and over again. But this thing had shielding, actual jet, probably one of their new MiGs.
Oh, that would
And
be something.
so the video stopped right before, and they claimed it was shot down. And it looked like it was going down, but they stopped the video. Can't find it again. I can search back through my history, and I've been looking, but so far I have not found that again. But maybe just to Google or just put on YouTube, Russian MiG attacks ship. Don't know.
Okay, and that was one of their new. What was that? The Su-30? I think that's their latest.
I don't know what they are now. Not sure. You probably know more about that than I do, Frank.
Okay, we've seen many Tic Tacs. This is what they're calling them because they look like Tic Tacs from a distance on, we'll say, F-18 fighters' radar. How do you feel about the authenticity of that? They don't seem to be able to get any pictures. I mean, we have cameras back in the 70s that could take a picture of a license plate from space, and they cannot get a good shot of these Tic Tacs. What are your feelings on that?
My opinion, they are ours. They're ours.
Okay. Okay. So we have a super spacecraft. They are said to be 40 feet long, 15 feet wide, and I don't have a height figure? Maybe you can fill me in on that.
Ask Skunk Works.
Skunk Works. They are quite a group of people, along with DARPA. I mean, the United States calls up DARPA and says, "Oh, geez, I want a Tic Tac shaped ship that does like Mach 12 and all this other stuff." And they say, "Here you go." It's as easy as that, I swear. I think it would take them.
You could also ask Bob Bigelow, Bigelow Aerospace. He knows all about it. By the way, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. I met him once down in Vegas. You know, he lost his wife, back in late 2019 after I left Vegas. He's a good guy. Anyway, not to change the subject.
Okay, you didn't. What could possibly be the propulsion? Gravity? The use of gravity, like coming from, we'll say, Alpha Centauri. Could they like lock onto a planet and use its gravity to propel itself along?
Probably, but wormholes.
Okay.
And that's just one way.
Now, you have a friend that's affiliated with MUFON. How does MUFON feel about the government revelations concerning the Tic Tac craft?
Depends on who you talk to.
Okay, because the government has been doing everything that they can possibly do to hide UFOs, to discredit UFOs, like 1947, the weather balloon. All of a sudden, now they have given up the ghost and they're promoting it. Congress wants to know. Now, I'm sure every president who has gotten his red book knows something about UFOs. But there are people who want to know more, finding out ways to do so. Now, all of the congressmen were refused access to the necessary files. And you have to have some kind of super clearance to be able to view these files.
They are locking these whistleblowers down. We've got, I don't know how much time, maybe 6 months left.
Okay.
These 3 whistleblowers can't disclose what they want to disclose because they're not offered protection. And that's what the deep state likes to do. They want to control and own everything. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. They said right on the video that they have been threatened. And they also said a few interesting things that I think our listening audience should hear. And that is that some servicemen have been hurt, injured by UFOs or UAPs. Yep. And that's something that, and they have effective jamming. They have effectively jammed our best radar. So, I'm glad you think they're ours, and I really hope they are.
Well, they're not all ours, but the Tic Tacs are ours.
Okay. Is it possible that foreign governments are responsible for the same type of craft? In other words, UFO crashes in Russia. They reverse engineer the UFO, and they have their own brand of Tic Tac. Do you think that's possible?
Absolutely.
Now, do you believe that Tic Tacs represent a clear and present danger to mankind?
No.
Okay.
No way.
What's your reasoning on that? Because
Well, because the shadow government and the deep state, they're just trying to put on a show. They're teasing us.
okay, we've got this, and you can't figure out what it is. I see. I've got
Uh, they're-
a fact here. It's actually my ex brother-in-law. He was serving on the USS Trepang, which is a nuclear submarine, United States nuclear submarine. But he served on it in the 90s. Back in 1979, they have footage of a cigar shaped UAP approximately 300 yards off her port beam. Do you think that these UAPs have evolved?
I think they can do whatever they want, but yes, they could have. Yes. So this is what we see in the movies. You got to go to sleep for 30 years or whatever, and you wake up and you're
Yeah.
on the other side of the universe or galaxy or the solar system. So that's what we put out. That's what we put out in movies. But no, it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know the right answer exactly. From here to Mars, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, and back is the same.
They claim that it would take quite some time to get to Mars.
Yeah, it's a big lie. Big fat lie.
I know that their top speed is virtually unlimited because they come back from the moon at 25,000 miles per hour. Now you have to take in consideration how many miles away Mars is. We'll have to take a look at that at another time. But what do you know about alien abductions? Is that something that you feel is real, or is this a fabrication, or did this happen to you by any chance?
Wish you hadn't brought that up, Frank.
Well,
So most of my abductions have been my lab, government-sponsored abductions.
okay, now explain the difference. You're obviously not going up in a spaceship, or are you? You're being kidnapped by the federal government and then being returned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. So my part of my story is a little bit. I don't want to get into it because we're not going to talk about that. But it's a little bit Jason Bourne, missing time, kind of that kind of stuff. And that, of course, happened in Vegas. I've got a picture of a what was he, about 3.5 feet. He was what do they call that? A mix between a human and a gray.
Okay, I don't know what they call it, but I have seen some really horrific pictures.
Yeah, and so right after this is kind of unbelievable stuff, so I don't want to get into that too much.
Well,
But
we'll
I
stop you
had
from.
walked in.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Well, I'd walked into my apartment, and this is in Salt Lake City. Let's see. Let me look at it's 33rd South, and just east of Redwood Road. What was the name of that apartment? Rivers on the Edge, I think was what it was called. Anyway, I walked into my kitchen. Then I just lost my memory for a minute.
Okay, Jesse, we have to go to commercial.
Okay.
We'll be back in a couple minutes.
If you are interested in natural, alternative health and nutrition, look no further than Dr. Janet Starhall, a leading expert in the field with over 25 years of experience. After healing herself from a near-fatal disease caused by aspartame, Dr. Hall has dedicated her work to helping others take control of their health and wellness through simple nutrition strategies and natural detoxification. Join Dr. Hall's private online community at janethull.com JANETHULL.com, and gain access to her hair analysis program, her natural detoxification videos, her pH balance program, healthy recipes, a weekly live Q&A session, and special guest interviews. Receive support from a thriving community of like-minded individuals who share your passion for holistic health. Join her private online community today, where you can learn how to improve your health and wellness through natural, holistic practices.
Are you a targeted individual looking for support and connection? Look no further than TIEvents.org, the ultimate event site for targeted individuals worldwide. Discover a wide range of upcoming events, from conferences and meetups to rallies and fundraisers. Connect with like-minded individuals, participate in informative conference calls, and explore a wealth of resources. Visit TIEvents.org today and join a thriving community of targeted individuals. Together, we can make a difference. TIEvents.org, empowering targeted individuals worldwide.
And welcome back. We had a brand new commercial by TI Events. She's a fantastic woman. She sticks by us, and you can send her an event at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it'll be posted by morning when you wake up. Okay, Jesse, you with us? Okay, I'd just like to say UFOs have mystified me ever since I saw War of the Worlds. And I saw that, I don't think I slept for a week. It's one of those things that we just have not been able to get some clear shots of. And as I was mentioning to Jesse, we have some of the best cameras in the world. Why can't they zoom in on this thing, this Tic Tac, if that's what I'm referring to, and get a good shot of it? One of the things they asked in the congressional hearing was, were there any rivets? Were there any spots that looked joined? Were there any windows? And they just had to say, well, there were two small things, if you will, sticking down. They were probably landing gear. I don't know. I'm definitely not an expert on it. But this congressional hearing is definitely worth seeing. If you'd like to find it, just go to your Google or your favorite search engine and type in UAP, Government Congressional Meeting, and you will get it. Jesse has apparently disappeared. Okay, MUFON is an organization that, if you are interested in UFOs, this is somebody that you want to talk to. I don't know what their fee is, or registration fee to join, but I'm sure that it would not be a problem. All right, Jesse, you with us?
I'm here, yes.
We got a call. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, we're connecting. Hold on. Hello, caller. Go ahead. Jay LeBaron. Go ahead, caller. You may have to unmute. Okay, dropped off. Okay, go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah. So what would you like to talk about next?
Well, I'd like some more information, I think, basically on MUFON. I know there's some people who would like to join. Do you have a way for them to join?
It doesn't cost any money. Just go to their website, and you can Google that, MUFON, Mutual UFO Network. newsletter. I don't have their phone number right off the top of my head.
Okay. So it's actually very easy to join.
Very easy, yes.
Okay, can you elaborate and further get into your feelings on, like, say, any one of these crafts that I have mentioned, or like the Tic Tacs? Now, you say those are our own government. Where does your information come from on that? Is this coming from somebody that we probably shouldn't talk to?
Oh boy. Yeah. Yep. That.
Okay.
If you just do a search for Tic Tacs, you'll find it, and you'll find people talking about. Well, and you can also Google Corey Good and David Wilcock, excuse me.
Okay, very good. Why don't we delve a little bit into your past and go to a point in time where you were having problems everywhere, and it was due to government officials. And because we've covered just about all we can cover for UAPs from my end, anyway. So I'd like to hear once again about your interesting past.
Excuse me. I testified against drug dealing feds, and that's been a while ago. It's been a little over 25 years ago. That's where my life began. My interesting life began. Yeah,
Hello.
What else do you want to know about that?
I don't know. Actually, I was hoping to. Okay, we have a caller. Go ahead, caller. Okay, this is San Pedro. I can't get anything out of these people. Okay, a couple people scared to speak. Either that or we have a problem with our calling queue. Well, I think that what I'm going to do is call it a day right here. I'd like to say thank you very much, Jesse, for appearing tonight. And I'd like to thank my listening audience. And I would like to say good night from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Frank Allen.